What's the scariest urban legend in your country? I don't know about the country, but in my area, there is the milk-sick mystery. When I was a child, my grandmother told me stories of Milk-Sick Mountain being haunted. Local rumor has it that Milk-Sick Mountain got its name from the fact that the old days you couldn't keep milk there. People would buy their milk and take it home with them, and the next morning, it would be bad. Later, I heard stories of the Milk-Sick Monster, a beast that haunted the slopes of Milk-Sick Mountain and resembled a cross between a Bigfoot and a Wolverine. Till this very day, people sometimes claim to hear the screams of the Milk-Sick Monster. Of all the out-of-the-way places in the area, none have a reputation of strange occurrences like Milk-Sick Mountain. Cars that mysteriously refuse to start, radios that won't work, flashlights with new batteries that go dead. More than once, I myself have had a perfectly running vehicle that refused to start on top of the mountain, but once I coasted to the bottom, it started right back up. I was once on top of Milk-Sick Mountain with a GPS receiver. The GPS receiver that worked perfectly only minutes before refused to work. The coordinates jumped around wildly and refused to settle down. After the tree cover was not the reason. Multiple readings taken all over the top of the mountain varied by hundreds of feet. At times I could be standing perfectly still, yet the GPS unit would show me far away, traveling at up to 40 miles an hour. Strange place, Milk-Sick Mountain. I must admit, I can't say for certain which culture was the progenitor, nor if the story is even a cultural one, or simply a story the farmers in my family told. But in South Africa when I was younger, I used to be told stories similar to skinwalkers. The legend goes that a small farm was experiencing some bad baboon raiding. Generally, baboons are a massive nuisance. Our bins in national parks are specifically designed to stop them from opening it, and people are advised to never leave doors or windows open, food on display, or your car doors or windows open in baboon areas. They do stick in groups though, which made it strange that on this particular farm, it seemed to be one single male baboon. He would find ways to break through roofs, break windows, etc. Any way he could get into the house, he would. One evening, finally sick of the baboon shenanigans, the farmer took it upon himself to teach the lone male a lesson. He boiled a large pot of water and left a window tactically open where the baboon might see it from the outside. Eventually, the solitary male made his run for the house, only to have the farmer throw the entire pot of boiling water over it. The baboon screeched a blood-curdling cry, breaking several items and shelves as he tried to escape the house. Eventually he broke free and ran off back into the mountains. The next morning, the farmer woke up thinking he had finally won. He went through his regular morning routine and brewed some coffee. Only when he opened his front door to drink it outside, he came upon a farm worker's corpse, laying a few meters in front of the house, covered in burn marks and blisters. It might not sound like much, but I had horrible nightmares of a half-baboon men sitting on my roof at night and screeching as soon as I pointed my flashlight at them. Man, this thread is ripe with IP for Hollywood. Good stuff. Surprised I haven't read more urban legends. One that was common when I was in high school was that if you saw a car driving with its headlights off, don't flash yours to let them know. The story went that it might be a gang initiation, where they wait for somebody to flash their lights at them, and then they chase them down and murder you. More local to my town, at the time, was 13 Bridges Road, an abandoned road out in the country, where when you walk down it, you count 13 bridges. But when you walk back, there are only 12. Nothing scary about that except that it's in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely no direct or ambient light. You're not supposed to be out there so nobody knows where you might have gone in case you don't come back home. This was before cell phones. But anyone in the area with ill intent knows that high school kids might be out there any given night, and they could be hiding in the woods. And of course, once you're out there, people start telling all the stories about that one girl that went missing or whatever. More of a Deliverance horror scenario than a Friday the 13th one. This is in rural Alabama, by the way. Edit. Nobody has called me out on this, and I don't know if people are even still seeing this, but I definitely emphasized urban in a geographic sense and not in the cultural sense. Had to clarify on the chance that somebody might take it a different way. Lord knows idiots try to weaponize that word. Black Lives Matter. So much. Stay safe out there, y'all. There's rumors of a panther or another big cat living somewhere in Kent, England, but no explanation as to where it came from or where it hides. I heard that from a ghost tour guide who also claimed that there was a pub haunted by sheep who trampled a farmer to death and a ghost that haunts a park in Rochester. Most of the urban legends I know in England are humorous/gross, though, like the story about sixth form students from whichever all-boys school is closest, bringing in 3 sheep for muck-up day and spray painting them 1, 2, and 4, sending the teachers on a wild goose sheep chase for the mythical sheep number 3. My personal favorite is the story of the hypothetical teenage couple who went for a picnic in the park, started getting frisky, then realized that they didn't have a condom. The story goes that they turned a plastic bag inside out and used that instead. Then a week later, the girl kept having random orgasms. She went to the doctor and found that maggot eggs on the sandwich bag had hatched inside her, and the orgasms were from the maggots wriggling around against her G-spot. Teenagers will believe anything. I'm from Stoke, and our local one is Molly Lee. She was supposedly a witch way back when, and she lived alone. When she died and they buried her, a bunch of people claimed they saw her still sitting in her rocking chair at home, proving that she really was a witch. So they dug up her grave and reburied her at the right angles. Her grave stands out, as it's the only one in the cemetery that goes north to south, instead of east to west. There was a legend that when they dug her up to rebury her, they chopped her head off and hid it in the tower of the local church. I was doing some work supporting a local voluntary group, and a couple of people involved ran the church. When I asked them about that, they denied the last part, but wouldn't take me to check for myself. The legend also says that if you run around her grave anti-clockwise 3 times, singing, "Molly Lee, chase me round the apple tree," then her ghost will come and haunt you. Me and my cousin tried it when we were kids, but shit it and ran off after the second lap. In Delaware, we have the Devil's Road. It's actually just north of the border in Chadsford, Pennsylvania, but whatever. It's part of the inspiration M. Night Shyamalan used for The Village. If you've ever been there, then you know all the trees grow and bend facing away from the road as if avoiding the evil influence, which then abruptly stops growing that way once you're about a quarter of a mile away. The stories vary about what happened there, but they all usually have something to do with a cult or devil worshipping, using an old DuPont estate on that road as their grounds, some believing the cult is affiliated with the DuPont family. The most well-known story about the road is the body of a baby being found in a tree, the roots cradling the body as if it were placed there on purpose, or how the DuPonts used the house as a place to store their inbred offspring and would bury them in the house and in the stone fence that encompasses the property. The house itself is said to be constructed to advocate and help the use of black magic, with things like windows shaped like inverted crosses, which they are. And some say the trees growing away from the road help with this. There are also reports of a phantom truck that chases the local youth away when they go exploring. The phantom truck comes from a guardhouse on the grounds, and it's rumored that driving by it too many times is what summons the truck. But no matter how close you get to it, you can never see a driver inside. The mohan and the patasola, the only leg. I can't really translate that to English. The mohan is a creature with human characteristics. It lives in the caves with long nails and long hair, so long that it covers most of its body. According to the legend, it kidnaps the women and men that get close to the rivers and lakes that are close enough to the caves. More women than men. Supposedly, you can hear it laugh and scream during the night, sometimes during the day. The patasola is a creature that was once a beautiful lady who had 3 kids and a husband. They lived in the countryside. According to the legend, she was found cheating with the owner/boss/chief. Not sure how to say it in English. In Spanish you say patron. Maybe look for the definition in English for some context. The husband was furious and ended up decapitating the owner and cutting his wife's leg, dying from bleeding. On top of that, he burned the house, taking the kids with him before burning it. The lady revived as a creature with sharp teeth and with just 1 leg. This creature is described as a nature protector and is not afraid of killing anyone who trespasses in her domain. For a complete description of what she does, she attracts people who are in her domain, sucks their blood, and then smashes their bones.